Okay. All right. So I'm going to be recapping a little bit of what we did last time. So what I talked about last week was that we were going to be looking at microbes. Do any of the people who were not here last week know what microbes are?
Microbes are like tiny things in your body.
In your body, and yes. So they're very, very small organisms that normally you wouldn't be able to see with your naked eye. You need powerful microscopes or something to be able to see. But they're very, very important because, for example, we use them in food. Like, for example, do you know what Marmite is made of?
Yeah.
The people who love Marmite, put your hands up.
You either love it or hate it.
Are you either love it or hate it? Who loves Marmite? I love Marmite.
I love it.
Marmite? Who hates Marmite? Okay. Right. Well, Marmite is made out of yeast. Chicos? Huh? But it's made of yeast. So it's a yeast extract. And it's very good. It's full of vitamins. It's very nutritious. And it's very sad that you don't like it. Because I think it's very, very good. Okay, then what about mushrooms? Do people love mushrooms?
I love mushrooms. The nicest thing in the world.
Yes? Okay, mushrooms. Woo. Next year. Okay, so mushrooms are also a microorganism, but that's a really big one that we can, silencio chicos, that we can all see. And in fact, mushrooms, I have a claim to fame with mushrooms. I cloned the first gene from the edible mushroom, Agaricus bisporus, the one that you have in your salads and fried up in breakfast. And it was a cellulase one, and we sequenced the first gene of the edible mushroom, my husband and I. So that's my claim to fame. Okay, then what about bread? What do you think, which microorganism do you think is involved in bread making? And in brewers, and in brewing, and in making wine, and beer? Let's have a new hand.
Yeast?
Yes, excellent. So it's called baker's yeast in English, or, it's rubbed out now, levadura in Spanish. And the Latin name for it is called, who can remember from last week? Saccharomyces cerevisiae? Saccharomyces cerevisiae, right?
Oh, yeah.
So the names of in fact, the names of everything in biology have got they're made up of two parts, like a first name, which is like the genus, Saccharomyces. There are loads of different Saccharomyces, and then Cerevisiae is like the surname, and it classifies, it says it's this species in particular, right? And then what about yogurt?
Milk?
Yogurt is made of milk, but which microorganism is involved in yogurt making, in cheese making, in... Stephanie? Lactobacillus? Bacteria? Good bacteria? Friendly bacteria? Yes. Calcium is what we get from milk, which is absolutely excellent, you're right. But it's not a microbial process, it's something that is already in the milk, which is really good for building bones and things like that. Okay, so those are the friendly microbes, the good microbes. There are also some beneficial microbes, and we're going to be talking about some of those later, which are antibiotics, things that are used in medicine. When we're sick, sometimes we get terrible chest infections or tonsillitis. Has anybody ever had anginas, tonsillitis?
My sister's had it.
Okay, tonsillitis, sometimes you get such awful, bad streptococcus infections in your throat, and they give you such bad fevers that the doctors have to give you medicine, and they give you antibiotics, right? And these antibiotics, they're antibacterial, so they are a product of a fungus, in fact, penicillin, once upon a time, that kill bacteria. And it was one of the tests that we've got here. Antibiotics kill bacteria. And that's something that we rely on in medicine. It's really important that we're able to kill infections. And then what about food spoilage? Has anybody seen moldy bread, stinky, out-of-date food. What is the first thing that strikes you when you look at something like that? Huh?
Black and green.
Black and green. That's a fungus. Mucor, Aspergillus nidulans. Those are sporulating things. And what else happens to the bread?
No, it's just like once I had to years ago, like cream cheese, and moss had eaten it.
That's right.
It was all green.
So it was all green, so it was already beginning to decompose. I think in the beginning of the year, you were learning about decomposers and breakdown and how important in the life cycle. Yes? You did that, didn't you, Carmen? You did in biology, in the life cycle, los descomponedores. Hey, well done. These are, shall we say, the worker bees. The most important aspect of the decomposers are microbes. They're everywhere. But you had to take my word for it, right? Last week. So we decided that we were going to be doing, that we were going to be trying to discover microbes for ourselves. We've heard about microbes, and we know that, for example, surgeons, when they're going to be doing an operation, you've seen that on television, what do? They scrub their hands with this brown soapy thing, and they're using a brush to get every single bit of dirt out of their nails. Then they wash, and then without touching anything, they put in surgical gloves, and then they cover their hair with these surgical caps. They put on special, surgeon clothes, which are green sometimes, which have been autoclaved. They've been put in an oven to cook, so every single microbe, every spore has been killed. They have special overshoes, because our shoes, as we're going to see later, because remember you did streaks of shoes, of suelas zapatos. So, the whole world is full of these microbes. And when surgeons are going to operate on us, they're going to be cutting, or they're going to be taking our tonsils out. So they're going to be exposing us, our insides, to these microbes, and we might get very, very sick. So they have to do everything in their power to get rid of all of these microbes, and they use antimicrobials. So they have special scrubs, they have disinfectant, they rely on alcohol gel, alcohol wipes will kill microbes, so that we do not become infected with these things, because then we get very sick, we get temperatures, and we have to give more medicines so we can get better. All right, so